Hey YouTubers, it's been a couple days, so I want to catch up. I want to talk a little bit about the transition that's going on in Trenton, and I want to talk about what Governor-elect Murphy's been doing. Governor-elect Murphy has done 3 or 4 things, 2 of which are really stupid, and 2 of which are pretty good. The first 2 things that Murphy's done is he selected a staff that raises eyebrows across the board. He's basically chosen the worst staffers from every gubernatorial administration, from Jim Florio to John Corzine. And the other thing that raises eyebrows out of all of it, the very most, is that he's chosen to give his wife, who's a multimillionaire in her own right, a paid staff on the taxpayer's dollar. The first governor that created the office of the First Lady was Jim Florio. That office had a paid secretary, a paid chief of staff, an agenda planner, a social secretary, etc., etc. Do you think it sends the right message when the state is $34 billion in the hole to have a multi-million-dollar First Lady having a full-time staff in office? I'm torn, but I'm not going to make a decision as to the propriety of that yet. I want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen in the next month. In the next 30 to 40 days, the transition team is indisputably going to meet with leaders of big banking and sponsors that got Phil Murphy elected. From there, they're going to decide what the first pieces of legislation that they're going to put on their agenda are going to be. He has the clout to get anything past the Assembly and the State Senate. And he's going to use that clout for as long as he has it, which is going to be at least the first 2 years of his election. I don't anticipate that he's going to start out softly. I think he's going to hit the ground running, so to speak. I think that there's going to be a pension funding reform bill that is introduced in the Assembly in early February, which is basically going to give the state treasurer more discretion to outsource pension funding decisions to big banks like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. From there, I think there's going to be a lot of legal and constitutional challenges that are going to ensue. I see at least 3 state Supreme Court cases brewing over this. I also anticipate that strictly for financial reasons, bond reasons, that he's going to go back on his word with what he said about state control of Atlantic City. I think if anything, he's going to further the agenda of state control of fledgling municipalities like Atlantic City, Camden, possibly even Plainfield and Elizabeth. Because what happens is this: when the state controls a public entity, whether or not it be a municipality or a school district, the state gets the power to make financial decisions for that municipality or school district. Spending decisions, healthcare decisions, bond rate decisions, which was one of Phil Murphy's staples during his campaign. And those decisions give him the ability to repay his campaign donors. Nobody gets elected to the governorship of New Jersey in 2017 without owing favors. And it's my fear that the favors that Phil Murphy owes are going to prevent him from being the best governor that he can be.